The moment you process, an email message could go out to the employee, the manager, or whosoever concerned in the organization. This person's application has been filed with the government authorities. You would expect to receive an answer from them in whatever, 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 10 weeks, whatever it may be. Process standardization across the organization helps again in increasing your efficiencies and ensuring that a common practice is followed across the organization. Now we see we have people across the globe, and if you don't have a system and process in place to complement it, you're going to be stuck because everyone's going to be following different processes. Tracking that out would then prove to be a major challenge, and that could lead into issues relating to compliance. And finally, you as an individual could also move to more value-added roles within the organization. Some of the countries that are now using technology to process applications either partially or completely are given here, which is the way forward, as they also, the government authorities also see it, that everything needs to be done online. We guys also need to keep pace with them or be 2 steps ahead of them to ensure that we are there as and when more countries add technology to their processing. With a thought said by a wise man, I'm sure a lot of us would agree to what he has to say over here. So make sure that your process and technology complement each other. Look at your process, make sure it's an excellent one, and use technology to complement that. So with that, I'll hand over to the panel. Maybe we can start with Robert. As you know, Jake introduced Robert a little while ago, one of the front runners in this field. So Robert, where do you see technology being used to leverage services that you're looking at offering to your customers?
Well, it sounds like technology is definitely here to stay. We should go ahead and embrace it. One thing that when we look out in the future, in the next 10 years, then we haven't had the crocodiles as part of our technology plan yet, but I guess we should add that. As we've long been embraced technology as a way to increase efficiency, a way to get people engaged in the process. Maybe 2 more. There you go. Okay. Like I said, we've embraced technology for a long time, both from some of the efficiencies it'll bring as well as the collaborative nature that it encourages. I think that, though, as we look at it, as we plan, we spend a lot of time planning and a lot of resources in this area. The one thing we really focus back, and we take a very client-centric approach, is to remember that it's all about a person. It's all about people. It's all about, at the end of the day, you're doing this because of your important asset, the employee. We're trying to build tools that are about our most important assets, our legal staff. And how do you bridge that, right? And if it's all about employees, as we're looking towards the future, if we really look at where we're going with this, it's understanding in the next 10 years, the workforce is going to be made up of really very unique situation where we're going to have 5 generations, 5 different generations working hand in hand by 2020, from the baby boomers to the millennials. And the interesting part about that is that this is a group of people that use technology very differently. They get input very differently. Some of them are very comfortable, some are more familiar and with different technologies, and everybody at this point has embraced technology, but how do they use it? Where are their comfort levels? And I think, so one of the points you made earlier was get the stakeholders involved. It's an imperative for, if you're going to leverage technology, if you're going to really make this work, you have to get the stakeholders involved, whether it's from an input perspective, from an output perspective, or just to stay engaged. In order to make that happen, especially with this coming generation, it's really about having technology, as we see it, that's going to be adaptable. that's moving to kind of the Web 3.0 paradigm. It's all about the user. It's adapting to the fact that the young millennial, for whatever reason, just loves to get everything by text. We have other people that want to use just a stationary computer, others that work at home, others that want to get all the information on a PDA. So it's technology that's going to adapt, technology that's going to understand who they are, who that user is, how they want to get the information, when they want to get the information, and in what format. So it'll know when it'll presume when they need information about Germany, when the thought that their approval is coming, when we need to pull information from them. So the great thing about technology is it keeps on evolving. Everybody in this room and beyond is involved in increasing the power of technology. But really, when we look towards the next 10 years, it's about making it usable, making sure that user experience is rich enough that people stay engaged.
Next question in immigration operations is the changing role of the immigration function in the organizations. And I have myself seen over the last decade and a half, that the way the senior leadership or the managers look at the immigration function is that it's no more a visa desk. It's no more to just have a visa stamp on a passport or a guy having the petition. It's a lot more than that, and the stakeholders have different needs or expectations from the immigration function. The senior leadership is looking for compliance. So where they see the immigration function adding value is to be the upholder or the custodian of compliance when a person is traveling. And especially in our context where we have 20-30% of our workforce traveling at any point in time, this fact takes up a lot of importance and pertinence. The second is the sheer scale. Now, when you have very high scale, there's no way the scale can be achieved if technology is not used. Now, how we went about going for scale, I think one of the biggest drivers was using technology was scale. The second was the interdependence which we observed with other departments. So, we had the documents which the employees had to be submitting, and a lot of that was paper-based. And as I was talking about, that there were times when the visa operation or the immigration operation used to be highly paper-based, and we realized that there was no way we're going to be able to achieve the scale that we wanted without using technology. And how we went about was we looked at all the feeding processes such as the flow of information of the individual, such as the salary data, the employees details such as the date of birth, what role he is in, what is the kind of job description that the person is having, and so on. Second is the kinds of documentation that's required. So for certain countries we need the birth certificate, the marriage certificate. How do we make sure that that's available online without having the employee to submit every time he or she needs a work permit or a visa? And all those were then fed into the immigration process such that all this flow of documents, etc., was happening on an online basis. And I think over the last 1 year, over the last 1